Alright, so I've been coding away. It's been a while, I'm sorry. I just have a lot going on and whatnot, so I don't have time to update this channel all that often. And also, I don't work on games all that often because I just don't have time. But, um, and also it's like I've restarted my game development many times because I realized I did something wrong, and in order to fix that problem, I would have to gut a system from the game that I'm working on that in turn would actually it's a whole issue, you know. It's just like it's easier to restart than to try to fix something that I messed up. Now, this is a system that I already know I've messed up on, but it's actually a really easy fix, I think. It's a time-consuming fix, but it's not going to be a super complicated fix because I haven't really implemented things around this system that I'm making yet. But I've ran into an issue. I was using easy ballistics and whatnot for ballistic simulation, um, and I've also just tried using just normal line traces and whatnot, but none of them were good enough for what I wanted, or they didn't work well enough for what I wanted. So now I've said fuck it, and I've made my own ballistics simulation in Blueprint, by the way. And it's pretty slow, but that's only because I have things turned on that I could turn off. Like let's see. I think inside of here is where it is. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I've draw debug, none on those. But on this guy, I've draw debug, but that's so you can actually see what's going on. Once I add impacts and whatnot, it'll be not as bad. As you can see, it's like really laggy, just a couple of shots, but if I turn it off, it will be less laggy. And even if I added in visual effects like fucking, when it hits metal, it, has sparks and whatnot. Even if I added stuff like that, it would still be less laggy than this. This is just I don't know why. I don't know why the draw debug is actually as laggy as it is, but it's just a very laggy thing. But yeah, so for the first test, we can show you this, and oh, it ricocheted. And now it's rolling on the ground, and that's lagging. Okay, interesting. It ricocheted again. Damn you. Shouldn't it have ignored that? Let me do that one more time. Okay, it didn't ricochet that time. Whatever. Anyways, you can see that it actually goes through each of these. And the way I did that is I have an ignore. So, this was a whole complicated issue. Huh. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, I need to figure out this error as well, because it's causing crashes every now and then. So, access none, trying to read property, object, hit. Oh, element, object, hit, get owner. Because there is no actor. So only if that's valid. That's probably a fix I can do, but Unreal Engine just froze, I think. Okay, there we go. So I could do a check to see if it is valid. Nope. This is valid. Okay, so if this is valid, then we make the array and we do the actor ignore. But if it's not valid, what do I want to do? Do I just not do the actor ignore? Hmm. Hmm. Well, let's do a switch, actually. Or select. Let's try select. So option 0 and option 1, and our index is going to be a boolean. So now instead, of that is valid, we're going to do a different is valid. Bam. Bam. And now we shouldn't get that problem anymore, hopefully. But let's find out by shooting. Just do some test shots. And it crashed. So yeah, it definitely crashed because we ran into an error. Let me think about this. Okay, I'll figure out the crashing issues and whatnot, but yeah, I have this whole actor ignore, which I guess we can just pop this back in for now. And I'll figure out a solution later. Although, an easy solution that I think is going to work is I'd need to rework my pre-calculations. The only thing I pre-calculate at the moment is the penetration. The penetration's the only thing that gets recalculated. And in some respects, the ricochet is also pre-calculated, but it only pre-calculates for one ricochet, so you can't have multiple ricochets. And if you do have a ricochet, it also, whoops, with the way I pre-calculate things, if you do have a ricochet, and then it hits something else, it'll only do the hit. So even if it's moving fast enough to penetrate this piece of wood from here, like if you boom, boom, it'll actually stop on this piece of wood, even if it's fast enough to penetrate and hit the second piece of wood. So yeah, I just need to move everything in the pre-calculations. And just need to move a lot of this code. Instead of pre-calculating things, I just do normal calculations with actor ignore. Because I kind of forgot that actor ignore is a thing. That's a part of the predict projectile path. But now that I remember it's a thing, I can actually do this, where I would like shoot this thing, and then I think I actually still have to pre-calculate how thick these are and whatnot. Like, I don't know how I would go about that. Oh, you know what? Okay, I know how I can go about it. So you hit, and then this would be the start location, and I would put in that inside of my pre-calculations. We have calculate object thickness. So instead of gun, I would actually have just a normal start location, and then I already have the forward vector saved. So it would just be out here would be the forward vector, and the start location would be this first hit that would happen. So it would hit here first, and then it would check the object's thicknesses to get those, and then we would do the calculations for if it should penetrate or not, and how much velocity it keeps when it penetrates, and then if it ricochets instead, how much velocity it keeps when it ricochets and whatnot. And one of the coolest things, I didn't even realize this could happen, but it did happen, and I was like, oh, I didn't think about the fact that that could happen. That wasn't something that I specifically coded in on purpose, but it accidentally was a thing, is the fact that if the object cannot penetrate due to its velocity being too slow, it'll instead... So the first thing we check to see is if you can penetrate. If the bullet cannot penetrate the object, then we move on to seeing if the bullet will ricochet or not. And it's just a randomizer for if it ricochets, and then it's also a it's this to see how much velocity it keeps. And I think I need to up these numbers a bit because I think it keeps a bit too much of its velocity after ricocheting. So I also need to, I think I'll do like a, based on the angle, you know, how sharp the angle is. So if it's like bam, bam, it'll keep more velocity than if it were like almost a full, I guess, 180, you know? And if it is a full, like if you were to reverse the direction, it would just be a straight line. There would be no angle. If it is just that, then I think I'll have it be a situation where it just falls to the ground instead. But yeah. And I actually already coded a similar system a couple days ago on my Twitch account. Right here, I coded a similar thing using dot product and whatnot. So I used dot product, I normalized angles, got the dot product and whatnot, and then based on the dot product is how I got the angle of everything and whatnot. I forgot the code, so I'm going to have to look back through this video to remember it. But I did code a system already for getting the angle that a bullet shot at. That a bullet was shot at. So like the angle from the player to the thing that they shot at. Because based on that angle, we're pretty much just, for ricocheting, it's just inverting the angle. I might add a little bit of randomization on where the bullet actually travels. I'm not sure about that yet, but I might do that. So yeah, this is just a little testing ground that I created. These orange pieces are supposed to be wood, and then that guy over there is metal. And another thing I can show off is that the distance actually does work, because you can see it's slowed down quite a bit in comparison to if I just shoot through this guy. You can see it doesn't slow down like at all. But then if I shoot through this guy, it slows down a lot. So it actually does measure the width of an object, and it will even do it this way. See? It even measured the distance for this right here. I think. Did that work? Oh no, I feel like it should have, oh, it ricocheted. Yeah, that makes sense. I had to think about that one for a second. I was like, does that make sense? Yeah, I should also probably base ricocheting off of velocity. At the moment, I only base it off of oh, I do base it off, oh, no, that's the velocity, that's how much velocity is reduced by. But, yeah, I don't at the moment, yeah, I base it off of restitution and the ricochet probability multiplier, so you can actually increase this to be more, but it can only go up to a maximum of 1, which means 100%. So I'm also probably going to add in velocity as like a thing. Like maybe we multiply this by velocity, but that wouldn't work because, oh yeah, that would work. Yeah, I think multiplying by velocity. Because if it's like 0.5, or would we want to divide by velocity? We want to divide. Okay. So yeah, we'd probably divide by velocity then. Or no, because if we divide by velocity, wouldn't that mean that... Let me think. So if we have 50% chance, and then we multiply that by our velocity, let's say 5,000, 2,500. Oh, that was multiplication. I meant to do divide by 5,000. Gives you 0.0001, which is way too low, but, you know. So then what if I do 0.5 divided by 8,000? Is that an even lower number? It is a lower number. So we don't want that, but we also don't want to multiply, because that wouldn't work with this situation. Pretty much, if I multiplied, it would always be a 100% chance of it ricocheting. Unless I reduce 5 times 8, 4. I could change this to 10, since I don't think muzzle velocity is ever, like, whoopsies. Let's see. Do I have any muzzle velocities that are like 1,000? I don't. So yeah. Yeah. 960, 975. I think 975 is the fastest. 991. Okay, so let's go for 991 then. So if it's traveling at its fastest speed of 991 meters per second, and the restitution of the object is metal, so it's like 0.83. Let's say I reduce it from that 900 down to just 9. We then get 7.47, so a 74% chance of it ricocheting. I think That's not a bad idea. And then we will also change its likelihood of ricocheting. Or no, not the likelihood of it ricocheting, just how fast its exit velocity will be is also going to be based on the angle that it would ricochet at and whatnot. So yeah, all in all, the system that I have created so far is functional, but it's not good. Because I literally wrote all of this and then completely forgot that actor ignore exists. So I can actually pretty much delete 90% of this code and just shorten it back down to just the shoot projectile and then keep the calculations and whatnot, but everything else can fuck off. Because all of this over here is actually just for saving this data to then be used when I actually shoot. Because then we have these post calculations, and the post calculations aren't actually calculating anything. They're just checking to see what the pre-calculations had said. So now what I could do is, instead of having pre and post calculations, I can just have calculations. So the bullet will hit something, we check to see what that object was, we then do stuff to see if it should ricochet, if it should penetrate, blah blah blah, and yeah, pretty much. But I will still have to keep a line trace as a pre-calculation of sorts. Because the multi-line trace is pretty much the only way to get this object thickness. But what I can do is now instead I shoot, and then we calculate the object thickness. Once it hits this object, we then go, okay, and then we fire something out. And we can fire it out based on the maximum. Oh, yeah, that would make sense, actually. Yeah. Okay, so then its endpoint could be based on the maximum distance the bullet can travel through an object to penetrate, and then if it... So yeah. So then we would do that, and then we would reverse it. I don't know if that would work if the object is like really big, because I don't know if it's overlapping inside of it. I don't know if it's going to count as a hit if it's inside of the object. So that's something that I would have to test. Let's actually, I should be able to test it right here. That, okay, it does not seem like it will actually hit if it's inside of said object. So that's actually perfect. So it does not count as a hit if it's inside of the object. Oh, nope, that's a hit right there. I was wrong. Yeah, no, we do have a hit inside of the object. That sucks. Because my thought process is, if I do it where it's like, okay, we hit the front, so then we start from the front and we go all the way through to the furthest reach. If it's still inside of this object because it's that thick of an object, then we're going to run into an issue of, oh, it's still going to say that it penetrates. Although it won't go through the other side. So I guess it's not a big deal, because it would just go to that last hit location. Or no, I would set that as the exit location. But at that point, because that's the maximum distance it can go before it's out of velocity, it would stop anyways right at that maximum distance. So I think in theory that would still be okay. I'll just have to do testing and whatnot for that. But yeah. Once I rework all of this code, shrink it down and make it more usable, I think I'll actually have a pretty damn good system. Now, sadly, I think I need to increase the gravity just a little bit. I think the gravity is way too small. So we're going to go into shoot projectile, and we're going to change gravity from that to, let's try like negative 9.8. And let's see, how far will the bullet travel now? Huh. It's still traveling pretty damn far. I mean, that is... yeah, that is indeed the correct one. Okay, let's try negative 98. Usually it's negative 980. Let's try 98. Okay, that looks better. That looks a lot better to me. Yeah, see, that's what I would expect from like a 1911. That might even be a bit far for a 1911. Maybe not, because a 1911 at its maximum range should be able to shoot as far... yeah, that's actually... I was gonna say, its maximum range, if I remember correctly, is like half of a football field, or that's its maximum effective range is half of a football field. And then anything beyond that, it won't really do anything. Just to... or it can go up to, I think, 1,400 meters, something like that. Here, let's see. I guess I can just, like... I can get a better idea of the distance that's because that is so far away that it's honestly kind of hard to tell how far it's actually traveling. Okay, god damn. Okay, I think this is probably the farthest that I want it to be able to go. So I think I want it to be hitting the ground right around that. Right around that. So I'll probably increase gravity just a little bit more. Let's do negative. Let's try negative 980. Last time I did this, it was way too much. And it drops like a fucking... yeah. It drops so badly. I guess it just looks bad, but it's honestly not that... okay, yeah, that's actually kind of bad. And also, that would definitely be like an ineffective range. So, yeah, I think the negative 98 was the best. So yeah, I think we stick with negative 98 for its effective range. Because, like, as long as my accuracy is still relatively good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I still don't have jumping or sprinting because I've been spending so much time just on trying to figure out this. And... huh, usually it's able to go through all three of them. Oh, because of gravity now. Interesting. Because I increased gravity so much, that reduction in velocity is actually kind of a... damn. I kind of like that, though. Let's see. It pops out like that. Yeah, I think I like that. Yeah, I think that's good. Because let's be real here, 1911 going through this much wood. I mean, I don't even know if it would actually be able to go that. Like, I don't think it'd be able to go through that. Huh. Okay, let's see. I want to see what happens if I shoot through this, though. Yeah, somebody would pretty much have to be right behind this in order for you to hit them. So wall banging would be very difficult. You'd pretty much have to, like, they'd have to be, like, standing right here to actually get hit. Otherwise, you're probably hitting their foot or something. Which, I mean, at the same time, I kind of like it, though. I'm so conflicted now. I think I'll keep it. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to give an update. I'm working on my first-person shooter game again, but this time I'm doing it in a smart way where I'm actually going to develop the systems before I do any prettying up of anything. So I'm going to be like working at one thing at a time. I'm only going to stop working on a portion of it when I have it done. So I'm going to continue working on this until I have it done. I'm not going to switch off and work on this player or anything. I'm just going to be working on the bullet until I have the bullet done. Until I have this bullet simulation done, I'm not doing anything else. My worry is, I don't know if this is something that can be, or it doesn't have to be replicated. You don't actually have to replicate the projectile path because all you have to send over the server is what the projectile hits and not its actual path. Like, as long as it hits a player, you just have to say, oh yeah, this is the player. Like, the client just has to tell the server, this is the player I hit. So then the server can go like, oh. And then it goes walking over to the other player that you hit, and it's all like, hey dude, you just got hit with a bullet. And then it walks back over, and it's all like, hey, that dude just took damage. And you're all like, cool. And then you shoot again, and you're all like, I hit him again. And then it walks back over, and it's all like, hey, he hit you again. But yeah, so yeah, I don't actually need this to be replicated in any specific way. I'm pretty happy with it so far, though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the fact that I've built all of it myself is really nice, because now it's like, if there's an error with it, I know what that error is. I can fix that shit beforehand. And so this is the thing that I've learned, is that don't use pre-made assets, especially coding assets. Okay? Just don't. It's not gonna work out. Okay? You're gonna get months deep into a project, and then you're gonna run into a problem, and you're not gonna be able to solve that problem because it's related to somebody else's code. And unless you learn how they coded it, in which case, why the fuck? If you know how somebody coded something, why would you use their pre-made thing and not just make it yourself to make it more of what you want, you know? So yeah, that's why I'm doing this, is just because it's easier, you know? I literally just sit here and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna build it myself, and now I know everything that's going on in it. Sure, it takes longer than just downloading an asset and loading it in, but it is far more effective than the alternative. Because the alternative means that it's not going to be good. The alternative means I'm going to have a headache in my future that I can't solve. And I either have to just say, fuck it, it's a bug that I can't fix, or I restart the project from the very beginning. Again. So I think I've learned my lesson at this point, and I'm done using pre-made assets. Anyways, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is. Don't know when that is, when that will be. But you can catch my streams on my Twitch, Ratman the Stupid. I'm probably going to be streaming myself working more on this code tomorrow as well, or technically later. By the time this goes up, probably later today, because it's 11 p.m. for me. But yeah, I'm probably going to stream myself working on it tomorrow. So yeah. All right. Peace.